The Apostle John has more to say about being born of God than any other author in the entire Bible. And the book of 1 John specifically has more to say about the subject of the new birth than any other book in the entire Bible. This is a book about who is born of God. Now, what are the distinguishing marks of one who is born of God? How would you know if you have been born of God? What are the necessary evidences of being born of God? And so this is a book about assurance of salvation. It is a book about assurance of being born again. Now, as we look at these verses this Sunday and next Sunday, we're going to break it out like this, and I want to give you a roadmap on where we're going. Today, we're going to look at the meaning of being born of God. And we see born of God mentioned 3 times in this passage, twice in verse 1 and once in verse 4. So this is the central theme of these verses. It's all about being born of God. And next Lord's Day, we're going to look at the marks of being born of God. And in this text, there are 5 marks of being born of God. And I just want to draw these to your attention just by way of introduction. In verse 1, if you're born of God, there will be faith in Christ. And second, if you're born of God, in verse 1, you will have love for God. And then third, if you're born of God, you will have love for the brethren. That's also in verse 1. And then in verses 2 and 3 is the 4th aspect, or the 4th mark of being born of God. You will be keeping the commandments. And then finally, in verses 4 and 5, the one who is born of God overcomes the world, a reference to this evil world system that is anti-God and anti-Christ.